Right, everybody, this is going to be a day of the life of John. Come with me, see what we're doing today. We've got a few bits and pieces. We've got a bit of graffiti to paint out. Got an early morning commercial space to do. We normally get in there before anybody gets there, wash out all the cobwebs around the front of the shop every year. It's a recurring customer. So we just popped into the shop. We got our Monster Ultra Gold, sugar free. It's like sugar free, but I don't need the energy. I just like drinking with the flavour. But yeah, got our little chocolate bar for the morning, because it is 4 o'clock in the morning. There's no one around at the server. We've just got a 5-minute drive to where we got to go. Get all the hoses set up, and then we'll start cleaning that one. And then just as day breaks, we'll just double check the facade up the top, and then once that's done, we can head home, double check our chemical while we're at home, and then we can push on to the first one of the first customers, which is a recurring job. So 3 recurring jobs today. So they're all returning customers that we wash every year. We got a bit of pump diversion on the second one, so we can show you that. We've got some graffiti that we're going to roll out as well, so we can show you that as well. So stay tuned. See you in a minute. Alright guys, so we're on our first job. I've been here for about an hour just playing around. So I got here early because there was no sunlight, so I've just been doing the concrete. So what we do here, Irwin Carpets on the Sunshine Coast, is I do all the car park bays. I normally go one past the colour on the wall, and then I'll go over here and trade things. So what I normally do is I don't charge for it, I just do it. Sometimes I do it because I just love cleaning. I like it's very calming for me to clean stuff, mentally wise, and all that stresses, it just relieves all that for me. So I just cleaned up in front of their area here. So that's what we basically do. We wash the shop front, rinse the windows, we do all the tops here. But I'll show you this. Some people don't see this too often, but this capping that goes all the way over the top there, it's not timber, it's actually foam. So you can see there, it's actually foam. So the last thing you want to do is hit that with pressure. And the guys know about it because there's cracks. There's cracks all over the place. There's joins where the water's getting in. But where the water gets in there, you can see it coming into that little corner there. So all that foam fills up with mold. And then it just comes out on that little corner, and it comes out on this little corner here. So you just got to be really careful around that stuff. I only soft wash it. I hit it with the M5 twist nozzle. So I don't like to hit it too hard because of that damages. They were meant to be getting this all painted, but it didn't get done, obviously. So we've killed everything there. We just got to rinse it. We just finished rinsing all this in here, and then I flushed all the concrete out with all the cobwebs. So all I got left to do is just do the top, just rinse all that down. I've left it up there just to soak. You can see how dirty it was. You can just see that line on the L. So I've sprayed a bit of chemical on the S just to show you how dirty that side was. You can just see that L part there. I'll probably just chuck it because we got to clean this last year because we cleaned this one. Because I hung around until about 7:30, and then the Total Tools manager come in and he said, "Hey, would you give me a quote to do my shop front?" And we said, "Yeah, no problems." So we did end up doing that, but we're in kind of park here, and they kind of get a lot of shade in the afternoon, so they get a lot of mold on their signage. So it's always good to get your signage washed down. You don't realise how much that costs. That's all hand painted up there. That's not like the signage like you see on carpets there. That's all hand painted. So that would cost a ton of money to maintain and fix. If you're not washing it, that algae is eating away at that paint all the time. So this is just the type of things that we do on our recurring customers. Like I just cleaned the rug, sprayed it top to bottom, flip him over, just let it dry out, and then I'll put it at the front door for him. So we're just about finished this one. So on our CRM, I was on there last night because a lot of people have been asking about CRMs. I use Jobber. I've been using Jobber for 3.5 years now. So I pay for the solo package because I don't have employees. We have one login, which is I pay for a year, so I don't pay month to month. So it's around $1,200, $1,200, $1,600, about $100 a month for that package. And I was on there last night. It said that I've done $400,000 worth of quotes in the last 3 months. 150 of that is repeat quotes, so I took off the 150. So, because I said we did $500,000, 553,000 is what it said that we did, but some of those are repeat quotes, so I took that off. So we're about 400,000. So that's about where we're normally at to get our win ratio around that 36%, 40% is where we like to be on our acceptance. So that way we're not leaving too much money on the table, but we're making enough on top. But it also, they did a little upgrade. I don't know when they did the upgrade, but it said 15% of our revenue is recurring customers, which is a good stat to know, because 3.5 years in, we're starting to get a lot more recurring customers coming through, and it's good for us because we get recurring customers, and then we're building our network up. So our paid traffic is dramatically dropped. We're probably 40% of paid traffic. So a lot of our other traffic is coming off referrals and all that type of stuff. So all the new people getting in the game, if you're paying for traffic, you're probably getting customers from that as well. So there's always new customers coming through as people sell out their businesses, or more and more places are getting built. So the more houses are getting built, they probably won't need a wash for, depends on the customer. They might get a wash after 2 years, they might get a wash after 4 years, they might wash the roof after 8 years. So normally 8 years after a big development is when that area starts booming, where you start getting more washes and stuff. So we're going to leave it there. We're just going to tidy this little bit off, and then we're going to move on to the next job, which we might do a little bit of graffiti because we've got a bit of rain coming in. Might do a little bit of graffiti removal, which we're just going to paint over top of it to make it nice and easy. And then we're going to head to a big house wash. So catch you later. Alright, so we just arrived at the second job. So what we're doing is we're doing our before and after jobs. So we're just going to add project. You can see I've done, just like a car. You can see I've done other projects here. So we're just on this shop here, and then we're gonna do take some photos, but that's done. You can see old photos in here, old jobs that I did 2 years ago. We cleaned up the main street and did some other stuff here. Right, so on this job here, we've got graffiti on a main bank in the centre of local town that I live in. This place is getting hit by graffiti like crazy at the moment. Like, these guys don't clean up their wall, but this company, I actually painted this building 3 years ago, so I know the colour, so it's easy for me just to come in and roll that out with paint because I know the exact colour. So we got that one a little bit there, and then you got this. It's a pretty bad at the moment for this small little town that the graffiti is just getting out of control with the adolescents. I don't know, I need to teach them a lesson or something. Need to go to their house and break all their stuff. Need to do something. But yeah, we're just gonna whack out some paint, roll over the top of it, and then get rid of it. So just we keep the 15-litre bucket, just a little 100mm roller, and I've got a little paint ramp that I just wipe it so that way I don't spill paint everywhere. What we want to do is keep it thick over the graffiti. Keep it thick. You want to just lay it off so you got no lines over that section, and then we just want to fade out the edges. We don't worry about it too much out the back here because it's just, man, the times that I've painted out here is just ridiculous. But they don't want to let it go, so which I can understand, but it's just a cost for the business. But they want it looking nice and professional. I just need to turn up the heat on the idiots doing it. So what we're just trying to do is just fade out and probably just paint this whole box, but we'll just edge off these little areas, go around that. It's nice and simple. Probably spent about an hour here today, so we'll just charge them an hour's labour. So you don't want it to ping through, so you want to lay it off nicely. We got nice and soft over there. A bit more paint on it. Bit more paint. If you got runs in the paint, then you got a problem. You put too much on it, but kind of just lay it off now, up and down. That way you get a nice smooth finish. Kind of just square that up a little bit. Yeah, make it nice and pretty like that. As you can see, this wall here, you see that line right across there? I've painted that wall. We've had massive tags across there. I've painted that wall probably 7 times since I've painted the whole building. So there is a lot of paint on that wall. But yeah, we just cover the graffiti. That'll dry down really similar to what's already there. But you got to remember, this paint work is
3 years old, so it's got a bit of dirt and grime on it and stuff. So what we do is just make sure we check in behind the columns and stuff before we leave. We don't want them to call us up and say, hey, you missed a tag. So this one here, get my bad knee. So just go through and just roll it right out. Make it disappear. You almost set a precedent too, but you're not going to put up with the crap so they don't come back and keep tagging it. Because they're almost like dogs where they like to pee on the same corner all the time, but if they don't see their tag there, they kind of stop. So you want to get rid of it. We've done that one there. You can see we got tags all over that, tags over next door. The building up the road there, they put a mural on the wall to stop it, but then they've just started, you can kind of see it up there, they've just started spraying over top of the mural, which is just disgusting. But what do? Get a shotgun out and shoot people. So we'll just take some photos, and then this one's done, and then we'll go head to the first washdown job site. There's my truck, the big house, this one. They got a few acres here with cattle and stuff like that. So what we have to do is all their water, because we've got some sections up on the roof there that we wash in the windows and stuff. Their tanks are all the way down there. So because we wash this house every year, we know exactly where everything is. So we clean that wall. You can see that top just gets dirty, but what we have to do is go down to the tanks and deviate the water, because when we wash up on the roof there, we want to make sure no chlorine. There's clothes out there too, which we'll have to bag up to make sure that we deviate the tanks. So country, just make sure to close the gate. Off you go. Got to watch for snakes around here, and that's electric fence there. No, cow paddock. So pretty much we had to work all this out on the first time that we were here. It's pretty muddy coming across here because there's a bit of swamp and stuff. Just follow where the cows have been walking. So got to watch that electric fence around. Now, because they don't mow around here, you got to watch everything. And just here, you see this here. Just get the grass down around it. So in here is a service hatch. So just let me unscrew that and I'll get back to you. This is the fun in my job. So you can see the size of these pipes. They're 150 mil wide. So the height of these pipes to the height of that roof, there is a ton of water in that line from that house to here. So that roof is roughly 600 square meters, so it's quite a large roof, which holds a lot of water coming off those roofs to come down to here. The deviation pipe is down on that fence line, so we'll just pull, because you have to get down in the mud. Put your hand down in there, a bit scary, but we're down ankle deep, and just got to twist the gate valve. There we go. And then we'll come down here. And you can see all the water coming out that gate valve. So what a beautiful little creek in behind this house. So just nice little rainwater going down there. Yeah, once again, see this is your dream customer. Somebody with a very large house, washes the house every year. I personally have not met these customers. I've not seen them in person. They haven't met me. All they've seen is the website, and we invoice, they pay, we book, they confirm, we come out, do our job, and everybody's happy. You can still hear the pipes gurgling to backflush. So that runs for about a minute and a half, that volume of water out through that. So that dumps everything out of that line. So these tanks will be full from all the rain that we had last week. But yeah, once again, ideal customer. We've washed the house 3 times. We'll get the roof when it comes around to doing the roof as well. So these are the type of customers that you want to keep on recurring jobs. So like I said this morning, at the present moment, hitting that 3.5 years, a lot of our customers in our first year we didn't retain. So we're probably retaining 7.5% of our customers year on year. So we're in that third 3.5 years. So we're on that point where we're retaining everybody from the second year. So we're getting roughly 7.5% returning customers per year. So 15% this year. I reckon it'll be around 20 to 25% on the next year. So this is when the business gets to a point where you've got enough recurring work coming in, whether you put another truck on the road because you've got that recurring revenue, and you got your website popping off and you got everything else popping off, or you just raise your prices, lose a couple of old customers, and go profitable that way. So you just got to work out which way you want to do. I probably want to put another truck on the road if I get more recurring work, and just slow down what I do and pay them a good wage. Build them another truck, but probably not as detailed as mine, but a bit simpler, and go that way. So we're going to get in, we're going to downstream this whole house, clean out all the blinds and stuff. We might get down to that little shed there and give that a wash today. So just do a little bit extra for the customers that you got in recurring always. Alright, so the truck is on the other side of the house. So it's around the corner there. So we're near on, you can see the hose going over the rocks there. We're about 80 meters away from the house. There's the smart stream. So you can hear it's just turned on. So chemical will take 30 seconds to come through the line. Hang on, I'll just twist this. Get a bit of a hand. So 80 meters, the injector I'm using is a 2.3. So it still pulls chemical at 80 meters, which is good. Because this place has just got a little bit of slime on it. So we're over a dam here, but he said there's nothing in the dam, so he's not too worried about it. So we're just gonna, there's the soap coming through now. So we're just gonna hit this side, we're gonna give everything a good soak, and then we'll just let it dwell right around. So we just finished soaking, you can see it's just working. This stuff's a bit heavier than this. The back's kind of half clean. We just got to knock off all the mud wasps and all that. So we'll just turn the chemical off. And then we'll have about 30 seconds of water or chemical in the line. So we're just going to let that dwell a little bit longer. Got some mud wasps, big ones up the top there. There's some nasty ones. Big ones up there. They've been up there for a while, so we'll shoot them with the shooter tip, knock them down. So that'd be pretty easy. We'll just hit this deck one more time with the leftover chemical, and then we'll start rinsing. We'll get this one rinsed off pretty good. The chemical's doing the rest for us. Like just in here where it's nice and heavy. There you go. It's come up a lot cleaner. What they're going to do is fix up all the railings, and make it into like a little boathouse. They're doing some renovations on the house. So they get this all cleaned up. This is kind of just getting it. The railings fell apart when I washed it. So everything's a bit rusty. So this will just give it a good, nice little kick start for the painter. We'll have to sand down and fix all those railings. But yeah, it's pretty good just to do this is just a freebie. So I'm not overly worried about what it looks like, as long as it looks much cleaner than what I started with. That's all I'm too worried about. And the fact that it's 80 plus meters from the house is the biggest thing, because he couldn't get to it with the hose, and definitely the painter couldn't get to it with the hose. So with us doing it, which is great. Yeah. All right. So we're just getting across the back corner of this house. We're at here. So we're done from that corner to the far corner. So then we do 2 more sides from the front and 2 sides from the back. The back is probably the hardest one because we've got all these louvered windows. So the water gets in, comes down the walls. So this job is pretty much, it's really hard. They put towels down and stuff like that, but it's a real pain to do louvered windows, especially out here in the country, because you get lawn grubs and you get spiders and cobwebs, and everything gets up in between those screens, and they really get smashed with a lot of stuff. So you have to try and put enough water up there, but not too much that you flood the inside. So it's a fine line how much you got there. But so what happens here is I come through, I clean all the house, and then tomorrow the window cleaner comes through. He cleans inside and outside of all the windows for them. So that's what they do here on this job. So it makes my job a little bit easier, because I know I just got to get the bulk of it out, and then 10%, 20%, the window cleaner will clean. As he cleans the windows down, he'll just clean that sill out. So what we do on a job like this is these screens are on the outside, and they got a little clip system. So we just pop one clip just to flush all the debris out from that sill. So we pop the window just like that, so then we can get all the stuff, because it's got a little seal in there. So we just flush all that out, and then they clean up the rest with the window cleaner. So window cleaner comes through, takes all the screens off, does all the windows, and then moves right around the house. Once again, I don't want to do windows, so I just recommend that out to other companies that want to focus on windows, and I focus on the washing. So I personally don't want to get involved in windows. People say, why not? You might lose a job here and there. So be it. If I lose a job to a customer that wants the pressure washing done and the window cleaning done by the same company, so be it. I don't want to deal with windows, because you find that anybody who wants window cleaning, there's a lot pickier customers. If you get a little tiny bit, you leave a little smudge or something on it, and they're sitting down the couch in 2 days time and they see it. So I just don't want to get involved in it, and I'm not going to do it. So I just refer that work out, vice versa. So that's what I'm doing. But I'm just going to get this side tidied off, and then we'll move around the front. Once again, close the gate valve, leave everything the way. So we flushed the roof heavy over there to make sure if there's anything left in the system, it's just the light. There's not much there. So close the gate valve, close the hatch so the cows don't step on it. And then what we did is a little clothesline area there. We just dropped 6% on that concrete in there, because it doesn't get a lot of sunlight, because it's pretty heavy mossy mold in there for a year's cleaning. So we just bombed it with a nice 6% in there. We'll come back, that'd be all brown by now. And we'll sprinkle that with a little bit of water to dilute it down. We'll let it embed itself into the concrete and kill whatever's there. And then that's this job done. We're going to move on to another house and driveway wash, which is a recurring customer. And then we're probably going to cruise around and look at a commercial job that we just got through. Is 10 commercial sheds. So we're going to go have a look at that job and maybe do a couple other things. So stay tuned.